Coach, what did you talk to the guys about after that one? Obviously, one frame before it would have been end of regulation, tie game going into overtime. Just how can you corral the group after a difficult loss like that?
Just kind of talked about the way that game kind of went, where the ebbs and flows were tremendous. We talked about it, with the 7-8 minute mark when we were down by 3, that there was tons of time to get back to it and get to 18. That's what a season is as well. At the end of the day, it's the ebbs and flows, and we got a lot of lacrosse left. And again, another lesson learned here, and we move forward.
Today you told me it was very evident for you guys to stay out of the box. You certainly did that. Only one opportunity today, and also went 2 for 3 on the power play. So how are you looking at special teams throughout this year, continuing to improve?
And it's nice that obviously it would have been big, especially the 5-on-3 there to bag 2 of them. Only came away with 1, but again, the discipline was really good here for us tonight. We didn't take that stupid penalty that we have in the past. Go a couple weeks in Vancouver, took a lot of stupid penalties, and it cost us that game. So I'd rather take a very nice, disciplined game. Again, and it was intense and it was fun.
And that was the most in an NLL game this season, combined for both teams. But when you look at your offense, Ryan has done a lot of growth in terms of goal scoring, but really relied on him in terms of assists here today. How is that offense really, in your eyes, continuing to improve in terms of it's just not going to be Connor Fields every night? You can have T-Mac go off, you can have Lanchbury, just depending on the night, any one of them can step up.
They all did. They all contributed in big ways, right? So that's what we need. Again, late there as well, we have an opportunity in the middle of the floor with Nider, and he kind of blew a tire a little bit, right? Like, it's just, you key on Smitty, you key on Fieldsy, T-Mac is ready. You key, like say, and then Lanch is ready to go. And then tonight Nider had 2 good opportunities, buried one, and just kind of blew the tire at that last one, right? So that's what we want. We want teams to try to key on our big guys, because our little guys will come through, and they did tonight.
The goalie situation here tonight obviously had to change early on, but then went back to Hutchie there. Just what was your mindset in those decisions?
Yeah, early they came out with a very specific, looked like to us, a very specific game plan against Hutchie. They buried 4 or 5 goals in the one spot, right? So tried to change momentum, same thing there. We just tried to change a bit of momentum late, and again, they keyed on. They got to Orly there 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row there again, right? So it's just like, let's change momentum, see what happens, and Hutchie stopped, again, they both came in and stopped the runs, right? They had really good parts, and parts that all of us collectively got to make sure we're doing a lot better, because defensively it was very leaky, to say the least.
The offensive end, quick, before we go back to the end. What was the decision to not have Turner in the lineup tonight?
Another week of getting healthier. And at the same time, the credit goes to Hogger, because he had a lot of energy for us last week, and he did that again here this week.
So, potential for Evans coming back in that next week game. I mean, just what does he add a different wrinkle for you? Obviously, brings that veteran presence to the lefty side, but what does he potentially add for you next week in the rematch?
He's that veteran presence, and again, it talked about the ebbs and flows early. Like he understands the ebbs and flows of a game, and never mind the season as well. So just that veteran leadership coming on the floor again. Like I say, we'll look and we'll see and we'll decide.
How surprised by assist today?
I don't know. Surprised. It was good to see, though. Like I say, he's got the acumen, he's got the resume that he is really good. And again, I think in this league, he proved that he's really good. Like they gave him a lot of credit right from the get-go. They didn't do what they normally do setup-wise, right? So, again, he was good. He gave us the ball. I'm not sure the final stats. I think we were above 50. So.
Yeah, what is it? 5 minutes through the fourth quarter, it was over 50%. Yeah.
So did they against Wiz? Wiz is one of the best. He showed up and did his job.
And now, back on that last question, now he gets to face Wiz again next week. Do you think that is there a chance that he's going to then come out of this after next week and be like, oh, what else does the NLL have?
I hope so, and then continues on that kind of mindset that he is one of the better ones, and because again, it's just going to bode well for our group and what we're trying to do.
Last thing for me, when you're getting knocked down, bleeding, different points, just whatever it may be, you have clearly the 1A guy for your group getting targeted out there. Just where do you look for a spark of physicality to get back, and maybe should there have been moments where it got a little bit more tight? I know you said it was disciplined, but really it felt like it was maybe a more loosely called affair.
It's your words, but yeah, there was some stuff that we felt didn't get called here tonight. But again, if it's consistent and it's both ways, then it is what it is, right? As far as the toughness side of things, again, I thought our defense did a pretty good job with the physicality against them, big boys, big bodies, and offensively, again, there's some things that we can do maybe a bit better to find backs and just kind of blow through backs a little bit too, right? So. And again, your question to me earlier today, right? Like I say, if it persists, if there's an issue, we have the guys to drop the gloves and go. Right. At this one, it's an intense game. It's a heated game, but everybody's playing for the most part hard, and hard lacrosse is good lacrosse.
I know talking with McConaughey, he said obviously going for the second quarter, you guys really focus on trying to make sure at least get through the middle. I mean, that's what the whole offense is kind of based on. Stuck more towards the perimeter and beginning portions, I'll say like the first quarter, defense did a good job being able to keep you on the perimeter. What did you kind of like focus on going to the second quarter like to help spread the defense out and be able to create some of that spacing down in the middle?
That's like one of our key factors is, like I say, we kind of get into wash and get out of the wash type deal, right? And then to create that expansion on them. And yeah, we just got to make sure we're doing it consistently because, again, last game, this game, when we do it, we're hard to stop. And vice versa. Again, like we got to do a much better job of defensively when they're doing that to us, sort of regrouping and getting back at lanes, getting on hands and such. And it took us a little while to figure that out too a little bit.
Early in the game, a couple turnovers that led to some odd man transitions going the other way for Halifax. I mean, some of them big saves obviously came up from Hutchcraft, but how do you make sure at least guys kind of stay consistent in order to, because next time those could have been goals if Hutchcraft didn't make those saves. I mean, what do you guys need to kind of focus on to make sure at least to avoid those turnovers and at least keep the offense in that solid rhythm?
Yeah. It comes down to the choice of whether I'm going to sit and hope someone's going to get it or I'm just going to react and get off the floor to negate some of that, right? And again, they're a team that, again, we talked about it. We've seen it. Next week, hopefully that correction is there, is that we'll react first and then hope later.
Defense definitely played physical in those times that seemed like guys lost their assignments, so there was some inconsistency there. Was there other things from the defense you saw that going on next game that you feel like they just need to stay more consistent on, clean up on it, in order to at least prevent game from getting almost out of hand as this one, even though you guys were able to keep up offensively?
A lot of times we're turning and grabbing and going back pedaling versus going forward, and it's one thing that we always try to do is make mistakes going forward. If we make mistakes going that way, limiting time and space versus giving those guys those opportunities to plant their feet and pick their spots, that's the one thing defensively we got to do a heck of a lot better job at.
6-0 run late in the third, early in the fourth, and obviously the game didn't go the way you wanted to, but you were able to keep it close. How did you manage to rally your guys around it?
Just talked about it again. Offensively, we were feeling it, and I know we got stale there, but we had opportunities, and we just kind of got a couple from the back end and transition to close the gap there a little bit, and just kind of got that momentum. Because again, give Sisselberg credit, we got the ball back. We got the ball back, right, and then we just sort of kept the groove going. So we knew there was enough time for where our group was feeling here tonight. 0.1 seconds, maybe it's a different story at the end of the day here.
Coach, with the way has been playing them back-to-back times after a loss like this, is it better that you get to face them again in the very next game?
Yeah, I think, yeah, it better be, because it is what it is, right? But yeah, a lot of stuff is fresh, and again, I'm going to talk defensively. There's a lot of things that I will give them a ton of credit for. They're good. They took advantage of what we were doing by mistakes-wise, right? So it's a lot of freshness that we can make sure that we're going to correct, and we get to correct it against the team that just buried us tonight on those mistakes, right? So, so yeah, I like where our group is moving into next week. That we're going to be a heck of a lot better than we were tonight.